Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Daily Footy, another sport with yours truly, Taz, and of course Sean. You may already see a theme developing over there. We have got a special episode for you. We have a couple already. This one is going to be dedicated to the upcoming WrestleMania 36. Given that it's pre-recorded, I've been calling it WrestleMania, but no.
AEW fan.
I prefer it. I wish they'd stop as well, though.
Exactly.
This was basically recorded about a week ago. I think it was 25th of March or something. I think it was. But we're gonna turn it into a bit of a call-in as well. We'll be inviting back imminently one of our friends for the channel, ARMAAN, who is a wrestling fan as well, and we'll basically be
massive.
Yeah, all right. We'll basically be very quickly going through the matches that are going to be going on and giving our quick predictions. There's three of us, so we can't just sit here debating it for a long time. I'm going to be very quick with my predictions. So we will invite him in. Sean, I'll let you do that while I entertain our lovely guest. But yeah, I'll give you a quick summary. This was actually a pre-recorded thing, so a week ago, and it's actually going to be going on this weekend over 2 days. So it'll be part of it will be shown tomorrow. Oh well, we'll be seeing this on Saturday, so you'll be seeing it just before they put the first part out. Hey,
there he is.
How's it going, Arman?
How's it going? How are you?
It's good to see you. Yeah, very well, thank you.
We haven't even started. We have to
just give them a quick intro and basically, what's about to happen, of course, and the fact that it was a pre-recorded show split over 2 days, but we know you're a big fan, and as you can see, Sean's it took him about 10 minutes to find that shirt. all the wrestling talk, he couldn't find a shirt. Can you believe?
I couldn't find my shirt just in time. This guy Arman's got so many.
The New Day one.
Pancake. New Day.
There you go.
Well,
actually,
he's ready.
He wore that when we went to SmackDown. But look,
John Cena one. So
oh yeah, I think you wore that one last time. I think, didn't you? He's well kitted out.
Please. I know he's got one I love. This guy. He's got so many.
Oh, the Punk one. Yeah.
But yeah, as I was just saying to Sean quickly, what we're going to do, buddy, is because I'm a bit lazy, I've gone onto the Wikipedia site and we're going to go through the matches in reverse order as they're sort of on there. Some of it's a bit questionable at the top, but and we're going to do our quick predictions, starting with you every time. And we want your thoughts on who's going to win.
No, but before, can you say, is anyone looking forward to WrestleMania? What's both your points of your views? Are you looking forward to it, or do you think it should not happen and should have been delayed? What do you guys think before we actually?
I think it's a bit of a tricky one. I think in terms of safety for performers, it's probably not an ideal scenario for them to be performing for such a iconic and big and staple event, 36th edition and all that, 2020 as well. But having said that, I think WWE is an entertainment company, and they kind of always seem to put on a show regardless of what the world circumstances are, and that's kind of the beauty of being. That's kind of how they built their brand over the years. And it is a time of sort of depression. It's also a time of big adversity. So, if it brings a smile on people's faces and they're an entertainment company and they've got the right protocols in place, then, it's a hard one, and they've obviously got their nose as well. So difficult to say, but I mean, I'll say they're doing the right thing. It's a marginal decision. I mean, I wouldn't have a strong opinion if someone said that they shouldn't put it on, but I think they're probably doing the right thing just about.
I'd go straight down the they shouldn't be doing it to begin with. It's the biggest one. It's the biggest event for them in the year, right? So the fact that it's pre-recorded and they're having to sort of split it over 2 days is just not right. It just feels wrong. And it's just
even Brock Lesnar, Brock Lesnar actually had to march down to Vince McMahon. The news has leaked. Me and Arman spoke about it beforehand. So did Taz as well. But Brock Lesnar reportedly had to march down to Vince McMahon and argue for everyone's safety. So it's a remarkable situation. I'd like to go on record that me and Arman speak a lot about wrestling, and he actually predicted before it was actually leaked that it was going to happen in the Performance Center. So it's a privilege to have Arman here to even preview it because he's got a lot of insight.
Well, I don't think it's about the insight of them being in a Performance Center. I think the big thing for me was that there's no way Vince is going to say no to a virus. And if you know anything about Vince's personality, he's like gets angry if someone sneezes around him and sort of a virus stopping him from hosting an event. I mean, it's sort of this virus has become bigger and bigger and bigger as WrestleMania sort of had its build up, and it sort of coincided, with its peak, with WrestleMania's peak. Obviously, the peak of the virus is sort of hitting at the same time. I kind of just see Vince as someone not to back away from a challenge like this, and he'll find a business justification for it. It's just the kind of personality he is, and it will attract a lot of haters, it will attract a lot of negativity, and people will say no. But he's got this weird way of turning a very negative situation into a positive. So, if he does some sort of nostalgic comeback or brings some sort of charity angle to it, or I don't know, builds a new star out of it, you're gonna end up like turning this into like the Corona era or something, man.
Yeah, it's true. Even the way the commentators have been talking, the commentators saying trying to lift a positive. Even the way some people are interacting, Byron Saxton on Austin 316 Day with Raw, you're definitely right there.
I've got nothing to add.
That's why
I've got nothing.
That's what Vince McMahon is all about. And as he said, at the end of the day, we have to address that before we actually review WrestleMania.
Yeah, but I mean, all I've got to say about Brock Lesnar is I can't take that kind of guy, a part-timer himself, trying to defend people. I mean, he's not exactly the nicest guy in the world. I don't know why he's pretending like he is, trying to be the savior.
Tarek, are you a big fan?
What, of wrestling? It's become less so, and I don't like WWE as much anymore. Sean and I actually knew each other because we were TNA fans together. That's sort of gone downhill. And I've actually grown to really like AEW more, which is, it's almost like we're seeing the attitude era of each of these brands at different times, and currently AEW's in that attitude brand, and that's always been the best part.
It's not as if AEW cancelled their weekly shows. They're still doing empty arena shows as well, are they?
Yeah, no,
exactly.
I just mean them in general. They've sort of made it super exciting. They're not doing all of the drama, as much of the drama stuff that the other brands are doing. So I think that's why a lot of people are slowly but surely.
And what the dark side of the cartoon character, that's a bit over dramatic itself, right?
Yeah, but
and then they always cast that.
Everyone has a persona. I mean, if everybody just rocked up wearing exactly the same clothes but with different moves, you'll be like, great, but I can't tell the difference.
They hate part-timers at WWE, but then they always go for these old guys to become the champion, whether it's Jericho and now Jon Moxley. And he's not exactly a young indie guy that AEW wanted to go for in the first place.
Well, it just seems like it's a fourth run right now for WWE mid-carders who can't get into the main event to try and go there and try their luck. Okay? I don't think the content is that different. I mean, I saw a couple of videos the other day with Jericho talking to a drone or something. Vanquish one.
It was a jacuzzi. Literally, he was in a jacuzzi. That's not like...
I know they're going for the whole, we're a lot more real. But when Jericho's doing comedy angles talking to Vanquish One, and they bring Brody Lee in, and they bring
the thing is, he's very funny in the way he basically flips the switch so quickly. He's like, I'm chilled, and then all of a sudden I'm just going to chuck you off the Titan. No, but the thing is, he's actually very quickly become, even I've annoyingly started liking him as well. He's become quite a, you get your sort of badasses in WWE who you just can't help but like Stone Cold, like Taker, for example. He's basically sort of become like that. I mean, he was kind of like that at WWE, but it's like a really like exaggerated version of it. And he's got a sick
legendary status at the moment, man. Yeah. I mean, I'm just saying Jericho's got that legendary status now, man. So he can get away with. He can get anything over.
Yeah, and to be honest with you, I think of the Shield members, it should have been Dean Ambrose, or as he's now being called, John Moxley, who should have got the biggest push. I loved his gimmick. He's got a crazy gimmick right now as well. But actually, what was quite amusing is Renee Young, Booker T, and I think Xavier Woods were doing a video call together.
Xavier Woods, yeah.
Yeah, and then he just wanders into the video call with a dog, and then Renee's like, "Get out of here!"
Yeah.
But he just doesn't.
What you said? You said he's got a funky character. What character is John Moxley?
It's basically is this unhinged, uncontrollable character that we absolutely loved at WWE. He's basically, he's just, I don't know, he's just taken it to another level, really. And I think because he's a more central character, we're not thinking about him as a Shield character.
Yeah, but like when he was Shield leader in WWE, he wasn't this mad unhinged character. He was quite intense. He was their spokesperson, and he was kind of, he had this dark side to him, almost a bit like old Stone Cold. Even if you want to look at it like that, you don't have to. But that's kind of how I saw him when he first came. But it was his unhinged character that he said he hated in WWE, and then he's gone there and he's still doing unhinged. But I've never quite understood that.
I think I think it's the unhinged character, but he's actually got a valid push. I think that's the biggest factor, because I mean, it was just it was this annoying sort of. I think it was just this annoying sort of, hanging by the other two's coattails, and they were clearly preferred.
But he beat Cena. No, but people say that, but he's the first guy to beat Cena clean in the 10 years of TV shows.
Yeah, but he's a world champion in WWE. Everybody has big wins.
Exactly.
You can't just sort of use he's beating Cena. To be honest with you, I suspect
2016
someone's going to
Battleground,
beat him this weekend.
Guild members.
But,
No, on Battleground, he actually beat both returning Reigns from the 30-day suspension period of the drug policy that we got in wellness policy that we got in WWE, and Seth Rollins. So, and I think what actually ruined Dean Ambrose was what a lot of people say was a Stone Cold podcast.
Well, if you can't handle it.
I actually love Dean Ambrose.
I think he's fantastic. I mean, I absolutely loved his. I mean, like, I think entrance musics can be really underplayed. But I thought his Lunatic Asylum one was fantastic. I tried listening to it on Spotify though, and it doesn't actually go anywhere after about a minute. It just replays it for about 3 more minutes. Then I sort of start going, okay, I'll move on to something else. But yeah, we need to do some predicting. You guys ready?
Yeah.
Let's do this. Right, we'll start with a very silly match, shall we say. It's Otis v Dolph Ziggler with Mandy Rose, if you want to go that far.
I'm going to go for Otis. Otis with Mandy Rose switching allegiances.
She was just playing Dolph Ziggler in your mind?
Yeah, I think so.
I hope it's another twist. Let's hope she goes for Sandy, her friend, because there was rumors that they wanted to have to promote the LGBT. So I've got her name wrong.
Sandy.
Mandy's partner in crime usually.
Sarah Logan.
Because she's a big. No, the MMA fighter that's always with her on the SmackDown roster. I always forget her name.
Sonya Deville.
Oh yeah, Sonya Deville. Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
Big fan.
Sonya Deville.
She's a real life lesbian, isn't she? That's why.
Yeah, exactly. And she wants to promote the LGBT the movement, and it would be perfect if they can say, okay, Dolph Ziggler is the idiot, arrogant guy, whilst Otis is a nice guy. You have to respect.
I think Arman's looking at you the same way I am, in that that's a completely irrelevant scenario. I don't think she's going to do it in this one. I mean, like, it's not going to affect what's going on in this match. If she suddenly just at the end of the match goes, Sonya.
I think they've got way too much. Listen, they've got way too much on their plate. I think any sort of swerve that's as big as like turning against men and like going to women needs an audience reaction. This is not the mania to do it.
Yeah, it's really not the moment. I mean, your mic moments backstage are probably just going to be, "I'll see you out there." There's no point building it up anymore, to be honest. I think that's what their videos are for.
It would have happened in Tampa.
So I think we're all agreeing. Are we all agreeing on Otis?
Otis.
And ARMAAN and I are going for a switch. Mandy switching allegiances as well. Sean's like, no, Mandy's just going to go to Sonya and that's it. That's all he cares about.
It'd be brilliant.
All right, next one we got. This could be a good game, a good one. We got the Kabuki Warriors, Asuka and Kairi Sane versus Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross for the Women's Tag Team Championship.
It's not happening, guys. It's not. Asuka has actually. She's just been reported as. Also, she had been removed from the WrestleMania list. Or am I seeing
I've not seen
sources? I read an article earlier today that she actually didn't make it.
Well, let's just predict, assuming it's going ahead. And if it was going ahead, I'm going to go for Bliss and Cross.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. Bliss beat Asuka last week on SmackDown, so I think she's got the ascendancy as well. They want a happy mood as well. Asuka's just been poorly used.
I'm actually going to go with the Kabuki Warriors because I do like Alexa Bliss, but she's got a very unreliable streak in her. And to be honest, I've wondered what's taken her so long to sort of not turn on Nikki Cross, who's just like, it just wants a hug. So I think she's going to turn on Nikki one way or another, either before, during, or after the match. And I'm going with the Kabukis.
You need a crowd to make it more epic, because as he said, everyone expected Alexa Bliss to do this a long time ago. So if for her to actually do it, it needs more of a reaction, because everyone's actually surprised that it has.
Listen, honestly, these feuds are dead, man. Even if there's a crowd, there'd be no reaction on her switching on her partner, because none of them are over at the moment, and there's like zero momentum.
So that's the thing. The only event, the only brand you're really getting proper crowd reactions from is actually AEW, where they've got their own stars basically surrounding the ring. So that's where you're getting any kind of applause. At first, I thought, where's that applause coming from? But you just got, Billy Gunn just standing there with his son.
Yeah.
Yeah. But what we got next? This is weird. We've got Sami Zayn, I believe, as the champion, who's obviously going to be there with Cesaro and Shinsuke Nakamura versus Daniel Bryan.
Cesaro's out.
And
Cesaro's out as well. Apparently Cesaro's out of the list as well.
Okay, well, he's not wrestling, so it's fine. It's meant to be Daniel Bryan against Sami Zayn. That's fine.
I think Zayn retains.
Okay.
I love it.
With an intervention, you mean, or just normally?
He does his dive for the rope.
Almost certainly with an intervention, but I'm gonna go for Zayn.
Yeah, but it would be great if Zayn was able to show his ability. I want Zayn to show his ability.
I can see this as a build-up for a proper feud between Zayn and Bryan. So I would say the first one needs to go to Zayn.
I'm going to say there will be a feud between Bryan and Zayn, but it might not be an immediate one. I'm actually going with Gulak to intervene. Because did you see how quickly he went from the nastiest piece of work to hi DB, we're friends? That won't last. I'm sure he's going to do something to Daniel Bryan. But yeah, Zayn to retain, I think. Pains me to admit it, because I do like Daniel Bryan, and I like the old Sami Zayn.
Apparently Daniel Bryan wants to retire later in this year when his contract runs out. So Gulak could actually be someone who could stay with him and become his protege. Because Gulak's a very underrated wrestler who can do so many submissions.
They do look quite similar.
Stay as a tag team. Yeah, exactly.
It's possible.
Yeah.
Okay, we got the Rated R Superstar versus the Legend Killer, Edge v Randy Orton. Last man standing.
It has to be Edge. I mean, I can't see them after all that build-up with him coming back, going into the Rumble, coming out and then losing. It has to be Edge, surely.
Yeah.
I can't make up my mind. I don't know.
squashed them so hard, and then for him to return, he said, "Well, you can imagine MVP."
Well, if he loses, well, if he loses, where does he go from here? Is he gone away and then comes back after? Maybe actually he's on temporary contract, so he could technically come back after like 6 months and just fight Roman and be like spear versus spear, I suppose.
Why I'm
I don't know.
uncertain,
It's a
because I
hard
just
one.
think, well, if he loses, then, you know, that's him sort of, he's had his couple of months of fun and then he'll just, you know, fizzle away with Beth.
The thing is, I'm going to go for Edge because Orton is a master at getting his heat back. So I don't think a loss hurts him, whereas a victory for Edge builds up a stronger feud for Edge down the line at SummerSlam or something. This is wherever they go for. So I don't think they should derail his momentum. I can't see a scenario where Edge doesn't win because Orton losing doesn't hurt him at all. And like if Orton could lose and have a title match at the next pay-per-view, because he'll find a way to get his heat back. Whereas Edge sort of, if they blow him up straight away and he loses, it's like, is anyone going to invest in this second feud? Just like what they did with Sting. Like Sting loses his first match as Triple H, he comes back. I mean, you're not going to be interested in Sting versus anyone after that, are you? So, I don't know. I'm going to go for Edge.
Oh, Sting, legend.
You know, you can also argue about Randy Orton could do something to Edge after, despite it being a last man standing match. Something will happen to Edge after he wins.
Yeah,
in
he'll
order to justify
him,
him
obviously.
being a warlord. Yeah.
He'll basically fake send him back to hospital.
Match, it won't be that easy to do it.
He'll find he did it before
Maybe.
to Matt Hardy, didn't he?
But to defend Armaan's point, and to defend Armaan's point, you can also justify his point by talking about Randy Orton survived the era of Jinder Mahal. I love Jinder Mahal, by the way, but
he is
Jinder
Mahal. Look at him properly, Armaan. Now open your eyes, man. Look, there he is, Jinder, right there. Don't hinder him.
Don't hinder Jinder.
No comment on that. Sean has this amazing ability to come out and link something that's completely unrelated to what we're talking about to make his point. But,
I mean, having done all these videos with him, man, I've realised they're basically tangents, but then he goes on tangents on those tangents, and then you're left in the middle of nowhere. You don't know what you're doing. All right, let's move quickly on. Okay, I haven't got much time for this one. Elias v King Corbin.
I don't care.
How's Elias alive? Yeah, I agree. Elias. Corbin needs a resuscitation. Corbin needs resuscitation after he lost to Reigns so often.
It's just a waste of time, Corbin. I've never liked him or never enjoyed watching him.
He's a good wrestler, underrated.
It's called the Boss Man Slam, for goodness sake.
No, the way he goes around the ring post is really good for a big guy. I think he just needs to have not being so slow, but he can be quite methodical, especially in his first year. He was actually quite technical. He was the one who actually eliminated Braun Strowman in their first Royal Rumble and counter.
This is a quick
He's done
one.
quite a few things.
Okay, Sean. All right.
How's Elias alive, by the way? Elias fell down 30 feet or however high it was and onto the concrete ground. Should have had a bit of blood spewing from his head. That was nuts.
Thanks, buddy. Aleister Black versus Bobby Lashley.
I don't think they've even been on the same show together. So Bobby Lashley.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. It should be Black, but there's rumors that they want Lashley to rebuild him to fight Brock Lesnar eventually. If you make him lose to Black, it's not going to be good. And we spoke about this a few days ago. I spoke to Lamar one-on-one as well, that Lashley was one of the few guys that actually survived coronavirus. He actually contracted it. So for him to actually then make the show, he should be rewarded for...
for being jacked up on steroids. Yeah, okay, cool. Let's reward that guy. No, I'm actually going with Aleister Black. That guy's kicking is just come on.
Yeah, I mean,
I've actually never liked Bobby Lashley in any guys. I've never liked him.
I think all signs point towards Aleister Black in terms of momentum. But it's just Vince logic, isn't it? Just put it on the guy with steroids.
Yeah.
Like, well, Lashley is a talented fighter. He's had a great record in Bellator. He's the closest thing to Brock Lesnar if you're ever going to have a fighter to fight Brock Lesnar. That's assuming if Drew McIntyre, which we'll talk about later, doesn't beat Brock Lesnar. So it could be a huge match if Lashley was able to get over Aleister Black.
Well, I mean, let me dig into one of his moves. If the guy can't do a spear without doing a roly-poly in the air, so I can't take him seriously. Look, if you're going to do a spear, look like you're going to slice him in half. Like, thank you, Rhino. Thank you, Edge, to an extent, and thank you, Goldberg. End of. You're like, Bobby Lashley, moves can go away. There.
What about a spine buster? Spine buster is splendid. It gets the guy really high, and that's actually a lot of his strength as well.
I'm sure the guy getting done by a spine buster is delighted with you calling it a splendid spine buster.
The Bulldog slam is really good as well. It's just that Lana has unfortunately hindered him. Being partnered with Lio Rush, he should have never been a heel in the first place. He beat Roman Reigns. And
he hindered Lio Rush. That's how I saw it. I was like, Leo's killing it. And then this weird... I mean, Leo's actually really good fun to watch. But then these two just have this weird merger and then it just goes horrible. And then Vince is like, you and Lana should have something weird going on as well. And then that went wrong.
Lashley's not a heel. He should always be a face. Lashley should be the face. He could have been the guy
He's a rubbish face. He's a rubbish face. He's not a good heel either. So, as you can see, strong negative opinions about this guy. Who we got next? Oh, this won't last long, but it's a good fun one. Street Profits versus Austin Theory and Angel Garza.
Street Profits.
Yeah. They're awesome to watch. And I just don't see the point in dropping them the titles and then just drop them straight away.
It's been a calamity. I think that match alone describes this whole situation. First of all, you're meant to have a four-way for the US title. Then Rey Mysterio goes down because he's in isolation. Now, Andrade then suffers an injury. So it causes further calamity, and they had to draw in a last-second replacement. They could have even tried to get Carrillo and just say Humberto Carrillo, have a family unity just for the titles, or try to justify it in any way possible, rather than having Austin that appear in the first place, because he's not part of the main roster. It probably hurts other guys that probably couldn't appear anyway, but like guys like Ricochet, Alexander, who actually had a good tag team match against them.
That guy.
Or even Eric Young. I love Eric Young. Fantastic players, because all three of us have appreciated TNA over the years, and it's a bit sad to see two NXT guys. Yeah, because
as a TNA fan, we all wanted Eric Young to do well. When he got that world title, it was just a real good feel-good factor. But similarly to when Zack Ryder got that Intercontinental title at Wrestlemania, that was a feel-good moment. But the next day, they're just like, okay, you've had your moment. Bye-bye. Give it back to Miz.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Garza as well. Like, is he a Raw wrestler or is he an NXT wrestler? There's a lot of uncertainty, and it does shows that they're just having some guys that are cleared, and they just have to have the.
Says he performs for the Raw brand. Helps them on Wikipedia. I just have to hover over their name. Oh God. Okay, this actually could be a really good match. And I think ARMAAN's the best person to ask first, given one of the shirts we've seen. The Miz and John Morrison versus the New Day versus the Usos.
I think for me, this will be one of the best matches of the night, because you've got obviously Usos, you've got the New Day, but then you've also got Morrison, is crazy, and it can get up to all sorts of nonsense in the ring. I think they'll retain. I think Miz and Morrison will retain, because I don't think the other two tag teams need the belt. But I think it'll be a hard-fought victory. I wouldn't mind the Usos winning. They need a bit of momentum, but I think that Morrison has just come in as well.
It's going to be an interesting fight, that match, because Miz we've spoken about this before, spoke to ARMAAN 101. Miz was apparently the guy that Usos saw that was sick and that alerted Roman Reigns to actually exit the premises. So we don't even know if that actually alerted Vince McMahon to actually say, this guy has done this and I'm going to punish Miz the hell out of Miz and make him suffer, because now he's also one of the guys in isolation now. So perhaps Miz may get punished for that situation. Secondly, we saw Usos versus New Day last week on SmackDown, which was brilliant, and they may have the momentum. But I do agree that if they ignore Miz's situation of causing the Usos and Roman Reigns to be upset, they should retain the championship, because Usos and New Day are solidified as tag teams that you really want to watch, and there's going to be a draft happening later on, so
I
you
feel a
can
bit
have to
uncomfortable.
sacrifice them.
That's why I feel a bit weird about it, because I mean, I think the New Day and the Usos, in terms of a tag team, are like there. These two as a tag team are there, because that's purely because they're singles competitors, and damn good ones as well.
Could Big E finally do his heel turn tomorrow?
We all thought it was gonna happen. If anything like that was gonna happen, it was gonna happen at WrestleMania last year and screw over Kofi, and it didn't happen. So I don't think it will. No. And I'm
You need
with
fans if you're going to destroy New Day, which is one of the best things we've seen in years, in the sense of wrestlers that have stayed as a unit and within mid-card level, then you would have to generate such an amazing fan reaction in order to embrace the occasion. I also would like to see how hard Usos and Miz fight each other. There's going to be some realistic punches, because they're probably upset with each other with that Roman Reigns information.
No, I don't think so, Sean.
No.
But here's my question. Do you think the Usos will ever go into the Hall of Fame?
Well, we had to have a long debate on Tori Wilson making the Hall of Fame. So if she can make it, anyone can make it.
That's just you being sexist.
Sorry.
Whether you like it or not.
No, it's not.
No. Whether you like it or not, there was a diva phase, right? And you can't just ignore that it existed. Is Trish Stratus a Hall of Famer? Yeah, because she was kick-ass, but she was also.
She is. Trish Stratus was great.
Yeah, but she was also part of this. She was also part of this diva thing. It's just your narrow-mindedness.
Hold on. Stacey Keebler?
I don't know if she is actually. I'm not sure.
She won Hall of Fame last year.
She isn't it?
It's only last year.
I thought she inducted Tori Wilson, no?
Oh, maybe. She should go in.
But the thing is, I mean, like the Hall of Fame is basically it's a step-by-step career, and whether you like it or not, Sean, there had to be a diva era for the current female stars to go from a diva. It used to be a divas champion, and now it's a women's champion, and now there are two women's titles.
Who was the first divas champion?
Fabulous Moolah.
No.
I thought Fabulous Moolah. No.
In my heart, I want it to be Mickie James, but
no, she was women's champion, but not the divas champion.
Yeah, no. I'd love it to be Lita.
Divas champion. The first one was Michelle McCool.
Damn it!
Megan's wife.
I'm so annoyed. I was going to say it, and then I changed my mind. I was like, no, go with Mickie James, not Michelle McCool.
That's the wrestler there, Michelle McCool. We all know that's going to relate to another fight. Michelle McCool is a good wrestler. There's nothing to do about being a female or male. It's just that they didn't really do much on the wrestling match. It's just like saying Dwayne Gilbert deserves to be a Hall of Famer. He served his purpose of being someone funny, or Hornswoggle. He served his purpose for being funny. He didn't do much.
No, but
no. It's the same thing.
What I'm trying to say is, each of these people were part of a process. What's happened now is basically partially down to them. If they weren't even a diva to begin with, do you really think they would have made the jump straight to women's titles? Heck no. We'd have been even further behind.
I know. And of course, China was there.
No actual joke.
Lita, China, Chris.
I mean, China was the scariest wrestler ever, and Lita was, for me, the best. She's my favourite female wrestler, hands down.
Sure. Let's ask you a question. What was your problem with the Divas era?
It's just that the fact that we're talking about people that were forced into promoting a sexist environment, where Sable would actually have to counter a lot of the creative to try to use women as female figures, because Tori Rose
Sorry, one
stated
second. Just to come in there. Are you trying to tell me that Sable would have been as big as she is without the sexual content that she was part of, and that she was forced into doing it? Is that what you're trying to suggest?
She was forced into it, but she had the capability of showing more of her wrestling ability. Like, she powerbombed Mark Miro, which was an iconic moment at WrestleMania, and she actually had to go against the creative to not to use women as a sexual figure, as sexual people.
But why are we now? Why are we now in the Why are we in the PG era right now, Sean? Answer that for me.
Because at the end of the day, Lyndon McMahon needed to be close with Donald Trump. All the adult fans hated the word E of WWE and wanted to go for a new...
He's missed the initial tangent and he's found the other tangent straight away. I mean, that's just absurd. I mean, I'm not even going to humour that with I mean, oh, man. We need you on the call more, man, just to get some sense into him. But
yeah, Sean, you managed to get the one friend that you had in the...
We're getting freezing going on now. Oh, hi guys, how are you doing? Just had to give you a very, very quick message. You're probably seeing this right now because the first part of our video kind of messed up. There was a massive freeze. I think we're using Zoom and it timed out on us, so it froze. But yeah, you're seeing this because basically it's just a quick apology to say it froze, but because it's such a long video, we split it into 2 parts, and that second part is going to be coming up very shortly. Enjoy.